now.
Live. Perfect. Hello everyone and welcome to KMS 10 at 10. My name is Sam Thorson and today I am joined with Sarah Kurtenbach.
Hello.
Today we're going to be talking about influencer marketing. Very excited to have Sarah on the show today. I think it's going to be really fun. Really a good chance to have a conversation about influencer marketing and then also to have a new face on the show as well. So for all of our viewers out there, it's kind of nice to change things up a little bit as well. So before we get too far into it and start talking about influencer marketing, our topic for today. Sarah, would you like to maybe spend a little bit of time talking about what it is that you do and a little bit of background about yourself?
Yeah, awesome. So I grew up in Sioux Falls, and after I graduated from USF, I moved to Atlanta, Georgia. I lived there for 2 years. I started working for a tech startup company where we built tech for Facebook for their advertising platform. We were actually one of their first 3 global tech partners worldwide. And after living in Atlanta for 2 years, the company moved me up to New York City to open up their New York office. I lived in New York for 4 years, so continued to build the company, grow the company. Eventually we got acquired by Gannett, which is a Fortune 100 media company. And so I worked under the Gannett umbrella, leading sales and strategy mainly. And then 3 years ago, my life totally changed because I fell in love. So love changes everything.
Love does do that, yep.
And I actually quit my job in New York City. I moved here to Sioux Falls to get married because my fiance, now husband, lived here. And after the honeymoon, I started my own company called the KB Group. So I specialize in 2 core things. Number one, I do advising for tech startups because that was my whole background, starting as their second employee and building up the company. And then the second thing is I do a lot of social media consulting, mainly Facebook and Instagram ads, but now within the last couple of years diving a lot into influencer marketing, which will be a part of our discussion.
Yeah.
So
very good. Thank you very much, and thank you for being on the show. This is a lot of fun to be able to talk about something as powerful as I think influencer marketing is. I think it's also one of those topics where it confuses people a little bit. They're not exactly sure what exactly it is or how to get started in it. Maybe they've heard about it, but they're not quite sure if it's right for them. So that's kind of what I'm hoping to talk a little bit about today. Before we get started with that, I just want to encourage everyone who's watching, please feel free to participate in the conversation. If you have questions for Sarah about influencer marketing or social media or anything, we're happy to answer those questions and kind of derail our plan for today to facilitate any of the questions. And we're already getting some questions, so I think we're just going to jump right into it, if that sounds great to you.
Great, perfect.
So one of the first questions that we have from Nolan, he says, what are some good examples of influencer marketing? And before we do that, so Nolan, we'll get to your question. Before we do that, maybe do you want to spend a little bit of time of how would you define influencer marketing?
Totally, and that's such a good way to start because I would say that influencer marketing is a little bit confusing still because it's not new, right? Influencer marketing isn't new, but the category is semi-new in regards to how they're creating it and building it, specifically within social media.
Yeah.
So in essence, what influencer marketing is instead of a brand constantly promoting themselves over and over and over again, whether it's with social media ads, paid ads, billboards, TV commercials, things like that, they partner with key leaders and allow the key leaders to create genuine content to get their brand message out there to their audience instead. So a brand can really partner, pay, hire, inspire these key leaders to help them instead of them constantly having to promote themselves all the time.
Yeah, and that makes a lot of sense. And in my mind, influencer marketing is something that you see all the time.
Right.
And people may not consider it. People might call it sponsorships or things like that. In my mind, it's one of the oldest and most, I think, powerful types of advertising that there is. We think about the stars, the big celebrities that promote brands.
Right.
That's influencer marketing.
Yes.
And it's a very effective form of influencer marketing. So I think it's a really important fact that people need to include in their business strategies. So
absolutely.
With that being said, I know we kind of got into it a little bit. So kind of getting to Nolan's questions, what are some examples of influencer marketing that maybe you can just kind of think of off the top of your head?
For sure. So I would say for examples, literally every category and vertical right now is involved within influencer marketing. But I'll give examples specifically of 3 because they're probably the most popular with influencer marketing and where you yourself could even find the most examples. So I'm going to talk about beauty, parenting, and then fashion.
Sure.
So within the beauty world, what a lot of beauty companies are doing, and this could be skincare, hair care, makeup, makeup brushes, all that stuff. A lot of these companies are partnering with YouTube beauty vloggers where these vloggers have built a whole following of young millennial girls all the way up to, 50, 60-year-old age women. And what they do is they'll put together a ton of content in regards to tutorials, like here's how to do smoky eye for your date night, or here's how to do red lips for your holiday look, or this is my 5-minute daily routine on what I do with my makeup. So these YouTube bloggers are already putting together a ton of organic content, and brands will partner with them to have them genuinely input their product. So they'll be like, and this red lipstick I got from Sephora, and it's called Big Red Apple, So it's very natural. And then what happens is all the girls that are watching these videos, I have done this before, I have bought product based off of what a YouTube vlogger that I watch is using, because I'm like, wow, her eyebrows look awesome and I want to buy that eyebrow pencil. So that's what a lot of the beauty companies are doing. Then within parenting, one of the most popular blogs is mommy blogs, right? There's tons of mommy bloggers out there. So what a lot of parenting companies are doing, and this could be whether it's kid clothes, food utensils, snacks, things like that, they'll partner with mommy bloggers knowing that these moms are already going to write, these are my top 5 snacks that I make for my kids. So then maybe Yoplait will come in and be like, hey, you should input our yogurt into one of your top 5 snacks. It's super genuine, it's super authentic, but they get these really cool brand sponsorship messages within the mommy blogs. And then these mom bloggers also promote it across all their social media platforms as well too. And then the last one, fashion. So right now, fashion, Instagram influencers are the biggest thing within fashion. So Instagram influencers are always posting every single day about their outfit of the day, and here's my new summer look and my new spring look. So then a fashion company will come in and they'll be like, hey, will you wear these shoes? And then you can put a link within your profile that leads them directly to our landing page where the consumer can buy our shoes right away. Those 3 categories are huge within influencer marketing. Every category has their own unique, different type of way that they work with influencers, but those 3, like if you start looking for those, you would find a million examples.
No, and that makes a lot of sense. And I think you started getting into it a little bit. Bronson asked the question, is influencer marketing only on social media? And I think what you were talking about a little bit is about, people writing blogs and kind of putting it in there.
Totally.
But do you want to talk a little bit about his questions about social media or other examples of influencer marketing, maybe outside social media?
For sure. Oh, there's so many ways you can utilize influencer marketing. I would say right now the most popular way is social media. So all the social media channels, because a lot of times this is where people build up their own following, and they already kind of have this this group of people that know their content. They look to them for advice. So that's probably the top one. But brands are using influencer marketing to extend it into a ton of different arenas. So one way is through blogs. The other is we've actually been working, I have a client based in New York who is an influencer marketing company, and we work with Fortune 500 brands for their influencer marketing campaigns. So we've actually been working with them on in-store events. So if it's like a CPG company and they're going to be launching a new product, the influencer could go to a GNC or to a Walmart or to a CVS and do an in-store kind of like pop-up event. The influencer can also, what a lot of times the brands do is they'll take the content that the influencer creates themselves, because then it's genuine, right? It's not like a commercial that's a total promo. They want the influencer to create it. So they'll create that content and then they'll extend that content into a ton of arenas. So it could be a TV ad, they could use it for display ads, they could use it for social media ads as well too. So there's a ton of different ways you can extend the content, really depending on where your consumers are.
I think that's I think that's a great point. I'm just reading a question here. We'll get to Nolan. Great question. We'll get to it. I'm looking at questions right now, and I did want to say something. So I really think that influencer marketing is something that businesses should look into. And what I really like, what you said is the audience that you're able to tap into once you start talking about influencer marketing. And one of the things that at least I've noticed ourselves is that because of everything going on with Facebook and the way that they keep changing things, and social media in general, a lot of changes are happening. But at the core of what social media was designed to be from the very beginning was a way for people to interact with people, not necessarily businesses interacting with people. So I would say that another good use, or a reason that influencer marketing is so successful on social media, is because you're tapping into that influencer's personal following.
Exactly.
And so a business is able to kind of step into that role into their personal audience and kind of expose themselves to a new audience that they maybe don't follow their business.
100%.
Yeah.
And even, when people ask me, why is influencer marketing so important or why is it so successful? I always ask them a question. So I'll ask you the question. Yeah. So Sam, let's say that you knew this person. Are you ready?
Hold on, that's not how this show works.
Yeah, usually you ask me.
Okay, go ahead. Yeah.
So let's say that you know this person, and every single time you're with this person, the only thing they ever do is they talk about themselves. And they talk about how awesome they are, how great they are, how good looking they are, how smart they are, how everybody loves them, and you should love them too. Yeah. Would you like spending time with that person? No way, right? Yeah. We actually purposely will position ourselves to not be in the same room as that person.
Sure. Yeah.
Right? We won't go to events they're going to be at. We won't go to different parties they're going to be at because they're that annoying to us.
Yeah.
That's how consumers will feel about brands a lot. When brands are constantly pushing their message in front of them and they're like, I'm the best. You should buy me. I beat all my competitors because of this. Everybody loves me and so should you. So that's why influencers are so important. So now let me ask you a second question, okay? Okay. Think of your most trusted group of friends that you have.
Sure.
So let's say that this group of friends started telling you about this new person that maybe moved into town, and this person is so awesome, they're so great, and you should really meet this person. I think you would really like them. Yeah. Would you be interested in meeting this person if your trusted group of friends told you about them?
Absolutely, yeah. That'd be a lot more reliable. And, seems like a cool person, yeah.
Exactly. And that's influencer marketing.
And that makes sense. Yeah.
So influencer marketing is using trusted sources to be able to help promote your brand in a really nice, efficient way versus you bombarding the person over and over again with your own message.
That makes a lot of sense.
And even for me, there's a couple influencers that I follow specifically to know what products they use, and I have bought products based off of what they post on Instagram, on YouTube, or on Facebook. So it works.
Yeah, no, and I think that makes a lot of sense. What time are we at, T?
We are at
probably getting there pretty close, aren't we?
10:12.
Okay, so we're good. No,
time
that's
is
good.
flying.
Yeah.
We got a question from Joseph.
Okay.
He wanted to know, do you work outside of those tech marketers that you mentioned?
So does he mean, I guess I need clarification.
Joseph, if you're still watching.
Does he mean within just influencer marketing?
I would say,
I suppose?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'd say within influencer marketing.
Yeah. So I would say at least what I personally do with my own client and what a lot of influencer marketing companies have built up is they'll work, their core focus is blogs and the social media side.
Sure.
Because it's the easiest way to tap into an influencer's audience right away. And what I was saying, you can extend this content any way you want once it's created. But if you're gonna pay an influencer your valuable marketing dollars or give them all this free product to create this content for you, you might as well tap into their audience too. And then if you wanna use it in other ways, please do. That's the best way to do it, actually.
No, that makes a lot of sense. So I think we have time for one more question, and this is one that I had coming into this. And just to kind of finish it up, and for everybody watching, I think what would be really helpful is if you could talk a little bit about where do people get started with influencer marketing? Because like what we talked about at the very beginning of the show is people maybe understand the idea of influencer marketing, but maybe taking that first step might be something that's a little bit confusing.
For sure. So there's a couple key things to at least get your foundation set and get you on the right path. Yeah. So the first thing is influencer marketing even right for your company? Sure. Because a lot of times companies have two sources, and that's their finances, their marketing budget, and then time, how much time their employees have. And some companies don't have more time or more money to try influencer marketing. Just a couple weeks ago, I was in New York City. I was meeting with the ad agency for the largest tax preparation company in the nation to talk about 2019 tax season. And hey, would you want to try influencer marketing to help promote your tax preparation company? Well, what they said is, unfortunately, the client provides them a set budget every year. They get no incremental budget. They get no extra budget, and they have the exact same goals every year. Sure. And they've already created a recipe to hit those goals with their budget. So what they told us is they're like, we would love to try influencer marketing, but unfortunately, we don't have any extra budget to even test this out. And if we take budget away from here, and test things out, it could potentially not get the exact goal that we want and decrease our efficiency.
Yeah.
So even this humongous tax preparation company that has billions and billions of dollars in revenue, they don't even have the capacity to try influencer marketing.
Sure.
So that's the main thing, is first of all, time and money. Let's say you have time and money. You can try it.
Yeah.
So the two things that I always recommend a company starts out with first is to view your sales and marketing funnel, standard funnel, awareness, consideration, and then conversions. And where are you having the most difficulty with? Where are your barriers? Is it awareness, nobody just knows you exist? Or is it conversions, people know who you are, but they're not buying from you? Because wherever your biggest pain points are, that's where you should test an influencer marketing campaign, because the influencer can create very specific content to help sway people lower down the funnel. So if you know the exact part of the funnel you want to test influencers with, you can set very specific goals and actually measure the results effectively to know if it works or not, right?
Yeah.
That's an important thing.
Yes.
The second thing then is, we talked a lot about an influencer's audience and how important that audience is. So as a business, you really want to make sure that the influencer's audience aligns super closely with who your core audience is. Because what we've seen before is we've seen companies partner with influencers who they themselves seemed like a good, genuine fit, but actually their audience was totally not even close to who they wanted to talk to. This happens a lot with companies that sell products to young men. Could be like protein bars or cologne or something. And a lot of times they want to partner with these young, attractive men because they're like, oh, they'll look great promoting my product. And all girls follow them. So they're promoting these protein bars to girls who don't really want to gain weight, you know? So that's the other core thing too. The influencer will be able to tell you all of their audience insights, so then you can ensure that it aligns with who you want to speak to, because that's your valuable dollars too, getting out in front of the right audience. So those are the three core things to at least get your foundation set to know if it's right for you or not.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
And I think, it's one of those things, and I would, if I had to add anything, I'd say you have conversations with people, just talk to the people in your community, and really, it sounds like you really need to know who your audience is.
Totally.
So before you can start talking to influencers about, getting into this audience or taking advantage of this, their audience or anything like that, you need to have an idea of, who you want to represent or who you want to speak to. So.
Oh, it's super important. Like a lot of the big brands now are hiring very strategic consulting companies to do massive research on who their core audience is. I actually am working on an influencer plan right now with my client in New York for an upcoming protein bar. That's coming up from one of the largest CPG companies in the nation. And their audience indexes that they sent us was almost so much data, it was too much. It was like 16% of these guys like to go hiking, but only 14% like to do it on the weekends. And you're like, wow, this is really niche, but it helps us overall, and they really did their homework, as does every business. Yeah.
Very good. Thank you very much. I think that was all really helpful information about influencer marketing. I hope everyone out there enjoyed today's show. Thank you for everyone who watched. Please keep in mind that if you do have questions that we didn't get a chance to answer, we will also be answering comments and things like that. So please feel free to continue asking questions. And then also, Sarah and I are going to have an extended interview after this that will eventually be posted on our website. So stay tuned for that. We'll make sure it's out on social media, and we get the word out about that as well. So stay tuned for that, and be able to watch a little bit more and answer a few more questions about influencer marketing. But for the most part, thank you everyone who watched today. Sarah, thank you for being on the show. We really do appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Hope it was fun for everybody. And with that being said, we'll see you next Friday, 10 a.m., same time.
All right. Thanks, Sam.
Yes, thank you.